Stephanie.
And I'm Michael.
And this is Uplift Stitches. This is a place where we talk about cross-stitching and board games and all the things that make our hearts happy.
Yes, and today is May 5th, Sunday, and this is Flosstube number
2024?
2024, yes it is. Still 2024, and hasn't gone next year yet. If you're new to us, welcome. We hope you will enjoy hearing us talk about our hobbies, and we also talk a little bit at the end about your board games if you're interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're rejoining us, we're glad to have you back, and just grateful to be a part of this community. You guys have just been so overwhelmingly supportive, and just grateful to be here.
Yeah, we've had another little bump in our subscribers. So if you're new to this community, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe we were actually over 800 already.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind to think that 800 people want to actually watch us. I mean,
yeah, it's great. We're grateful for each
It's
one.
really great. It's wonderful. So just thank you everybody for just subscribing. If you are new and you like what you see here, please subscribe, hit the like button, and all the wonderful things we do.
Yeah.
So I think we usually like to start with life updates, things that have happened just briefly. So what's gone over the last month or so?
Well, the day after we filmed last month, we went to celebrate Michael's mom's birthday.
Yes, she is 81.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
And
she asked for us to all go together to a restaurant.
There's a restaurant called Whitman's, which I grew up going to. And, we used to take my great aunt and my grandma there, and they loved it, and my mom just loves it. So we hadn't gone in a number of years. So we decided to all get in the car with my brother and his wife, and we went over to enjoy some family style food. Basically, they bring out food and keep bringing it until you're full.
Yeah. It was a really lovely drive. It's you have to take a ferry across the Mississippi River to get there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a peninsula between two rivers.
But it's in a kind of a farming area, so it's rolling hills, and at that time all of the trees were starting to flower, so it was really
it's a beautiful area.
It was a beautiful day.
There's some beautiful orchards on the way, and it was a great drive, a great day.
So. We came home and ate some cake.
And celebrated a little bit more.
We had a great time visiting together.
Yeah, so that was me really right after that last video.
Yeah.
Recorded.
Yeah.
After that, though, let's see. We have a troublesome bird. I've been basically on bird duty.
The birds are back.
The birds are back,
which we're excited about.
We love our birds. We have our bird feeders out, and they're enjoying it.
Yeah, I actually had to put out the hummingbird feeder this week because I was sitting out there stitching one day and I heard the little zip zip. Yeah. I said, "Oh, it's time to get that out."
Yeah,
it feels a little early, but
they're here.
We're glad they're back.
But one little guy, little Robin, not a little Robin. He's a big Robin actually. He's huge, and he's decided he takes a liking to our window in our dining room area.
Yeah, we had this problem at our old house, but it was a basement window, and it kind of made sense because he would, stand on the ground and run into the window. It's kind of a common thing that happens with robins.
But in this one, it's on our top floor, which is because we have a walkout.
Yeah.
And so, but he
flies up into the window.
Flies up in the window nonstop until you chase him off. And so every day I've had to go and kind of patrol the window. I moved my gaming sessions in the morning over to there because otherwise he just keeps doing it. He's finally starting to relent a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's been. We'll put some pictures in.
Did you take any?
I took a few pictures, so we could put a picture of him to show you who he is.
Yeah.
But all the other birds have been fun to see too. Mm-hmm. So, other than that, we've been doing a lot of spring cleaning.
Yeah. The last couple of weeks we've been doing a lot of spring cleaning, and I've been doing some spring cleaning also while Michael's been working.
Yeah. So.
But you've been busy at work.
I've been pretty busy.
It's kind of the end of the semester.
End of the semester, all the faculty are panicking with final stuff. Things are going wrong because I'm an instructional designer, so I help them with issues that go wrong with their classes at the end of the semester and stuff. So.
And also starting to get ready for.
Getting ready for next semester, summer, and all that. So it's been very busy at work. I've had lots and lots of meetings, but and then we've also went antiquing a couple times.
Yeah, we had a couple of dates that we took, Friday dates.
We like to go browsing antique stores in the area.
Yeah, we go to lunch. We do some chores. Usually we tie our dates into like running errands.
But we did go to some fun antique stores. And we went to another fun place.
We went to Color and Cotton.
We
both needed a few threads.
We needed a few threads, and we stuck to our list.
Yep.
We were good.
And oops.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I think just yesterday I went to my D&D group.
Well, you went twice since we saw everyone last time.
I did go twice.
Yeah. So the people that we usually have game days with, we haven't had a game day because they decided they wanted to do start a D&D campaign.
Yeah. So I started playing in that, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. One of our friends is DMing, who's never done that before.
Yeah. This is her first time really DMing a campaign, so it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. So, and that was yesterday. It was my last time, but so we've gone twice, but. So we're not that far into
and I decided not to
she's not doing it this time.
Yeah. But. I don't know if I've talked about this before. I like the idea of D&D. But I've got a lot of social anxiety, so it's hard for me to...
It's harder for the extrovert
to think on my feet.
Yeah. So, but it's been fun. So that's kind of what we've been up to, really.
I think we got together with your mom a couple times and my parents a couple times. They were actually out here this weekend, which was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a good time visiting.
Yeah.
So I made scones. For those of you who know,
we tried the scones from the cookbook.
Yes, we did. I made the scones from the cookbook with the orange cream scones.
What were they called?
I think they were. I don't know if they're orange cream or some kind of orange scones, but they were.
The verdict is they were very good.
They were very good.
We did have the icing recipe as they suggested.
Yeah, it was would have been way too much icing. Yeah, so if you do make it, you don't need that much icing.
They were delicious.
Unless you're like dipping them physically into the icing or something. But it turned out really well.
Yeah.
So that was part of their SAL, because you're cooking something there also counts.
Yeah, that was something I think Missy from Two Needles Bowling Thread.
Yeah, I think so. So, and I haven't finished from that book as well, so I'll show that later on. But,
also, you fired up the barbecue.
I did.
For the first time this year.
I was so excited to fire up the barbecue because I love barbecuing. Grew up with it, and so we fired it up this weekend. I made some pork steaks, and we had some roasted potatoes. It was just really good. Good weather for it, too.
Yeah, we've been back in the swing of walking. We didn't do any hikes this month.
No hikes. We're going to try to get some in this May and June. So, but it's just been really busy.
Yeah.
Busy, as you can tell from all the
springtime is always busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And weekends tend to fill up really quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we're not alone on that. But,
no.
But I think that's all I had on lifestyle days.
That's all I can think of.
So I guess we'll go ahead and move into our cross stitch.
All right.
And just a reminder, if there's something you're not particularly interested in, you can skip ahead.
Oh, yeah. I should have chapters below. So if there's anything you want to skip ahead or go back to, you should be able to do that
pretty easily. So we have some finishes. You want me to start? You want to start?
I'll start because I have 3 and you have 2.
Okay, that works.
Ooh. So my first one is Quilted Christmas by Emily Call. This was one of my 12 Days of Snow Friends starts in December. And I was just doing this one that's pictured here. And here's how it turned out.
Yeah, super cute.
Yeah, I love how it looks. I changed all of the colors. None of these colors are called for. And I stitched this on a 36 count Spellbound by Needle Bling Designs. And I did 2 strands of thread over 1. This is a mixture of DMC. It's mostly DMC. And then the greens, I used 2 Classic Colorworks colors. But I love how it turned out. It's so cute.
I love it. It's turned out great.
Yeah, part of the reason I decided to change the colors was her colors were very Christmassy. It was reds and greens. And this is something that I know once I fully finish, I'll probably keep up in my craft room year round and then just put with the other snow friends in the wintertime. So I want it to be not necessarily Christmas colors.
Yeah, because we have a little snowman kind of villagey area we put out.
So that's my finish. First finish.
Awesome. First finish. So my finish, I'll go ahead and start with the one that was in the book. So this one, the cookbook. This was I'm just calling him Squirrel. He's like kind of a hiking squirrel by Jeannine McGowan of the Blue Flower in the Happiness is Homemade. This was on 18 count Wild Mint Ada by Atomic Ranch Fabrics, and I'm doing it I did it 1 over 1. So let me see. Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he turned out really cute.
It's a little bit more minty than it's showing. We've had a hard time with videoing blue colored fabrics.
Yeah, they don't always show up as quite the same color they are in person. But this one turned out really good. I think I'm going to finish him as an ornament probably.
Yeah. So
I don't know, for some reason I like little squirrels and mice and stuff. I don't really know why I like stitching them, but I seem to be obsessed with it. So
cute.
I think he turned out really cute. So.
Yeah.
So that was my first finish.
That's a good finish. I had another Snow Friend finish. This is Merry Sleighbells by Silver Creek Samplers. And this again was one of my 12 Days of Snow Friends starts back in December.
Oh, yeah, this is the one I helped you with the colors a little bit.
Michael did help me with the colors on this one, and here is the finish.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And once again, I totally changed. I don't think any of these were called for.
I think it turned out really great. I love it.
Yeah. I stitched this on 32 count Petit Point Blue by Zweigart, and I used the reverse side, so you can see the primary side is much brighter. And this was actually a suggestion by the designer, Diane. This was how her model was stitched, was on this side of it, and I really like that idea. Yeah, I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I really didn't have much left, I think, when I showed it as a plan. I just needed to finish a few things at the bottom. But yeah, I changed all the colors. Some overdyed, some DMC. I think the
whole sleigh.
I'm on Instagram as Uplift Stitches. Yeah. You can follow me there. Michael's not on Instagram.
No.
But I think in my post, I posted the list of all of the colors that I had used if you're interested in that. If not, you can message me and I can send it to you.
Yeah, I think the colors just went together really well.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I love how it turned out. On her model, she has little tiny gold bells that she had put on the sleigh. I think I'm going to try to find silver bells. And I'll do a similar thing when I fully finish it. But I love it.
Yeah. All right, so my second finish was one I had been working on. Like, we have a picture we can probably insert of what the actual picture looks like.
Oh yeah, I have the cover photo.
But this was called Charizard. I did this kind of as a combination of the Leap Day Start and the Year of the Dragon. So it's a smaller one because I knew I have a lot of big ones going. But this was by BixoStitch, and I did it on 20 count Smack the Jellyfish Ida by Live&Dye LA, and I did it 1/1. And I think it turned out pretty well on this fabric. Oh, thank you. But I think the fabric choice really worked well with the color scheme from the
It's so
stitch.
vivid.
It turned out really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do as a fully finish for this. I mean, I thought about doing like a magnet for, I don't know where I would put it. I thought about, I mean, it's kind of a little bit big for an ornament, but I could make it into an ornament. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I really like the way it turned out. So, and I've always liked this game growing up. So that was my second finish. I just used the call for DMCs because I don't think it would have worked to change a whole lot with them. But so that was my two finishes.
So my third finish, I'll have to insert a picture of the cover photo because it's not one that I have. I used a PDF. This is the Gilmore-isms Gilmore Girls Stitch Along by Forbidden Fiber Co. I just had a few more blocks to fill in last time I showed it, and I finished all those blocks. Yeah, so I did end up, I know last time I had kind of mentioned I was debating what I was going to do about the post block, and I ended up just doing it as called for. I did modify a few things to fit it in there slightly differently, because some of the spacing was a little bit different, and a few of the letters in the stitching were a little bit different, so I just changed them so they were the same consistently throughout the project. But here it is. And it's on a 32 count Casablanca by Forbidden Fiber Co. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think I'm going to try to do some kind of a soft finish. Some sort of wall hanging. But
yeah, I look forward to watching.
I don't know yet.
Watching the show with you in the fall.
I had bought the thread pack. That's what I used, and I only ran out of the dark brown that was the borders, so I still have a lot of these colors, so I'll be able to use these in other projects, which is great because I really love these vivid yellows and purple. So maybe these will show up in future projects.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it for finishes, right?
Yeah, that's it for finishes. So we can go to whips.
So we go to whips. I think you have more
works
whips
in progress. I do. I had 7 this time.
Yeah, I only had 3 that I actually worked on.
Okay,
besides the finishes.
We'll alternate a little bit.
So, yeah.
I'm going to move this just a little bit.
Yeah, move that a little bit.
Okay, so it's out of my way. The first thing that I'm going to show is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. This was my birthday start this year. And last time I had been debating, I had mentioned there was something that I was going to do as my hashtag Motiva Week project. Motiva Week is something that was started by our friend Julie, Julie in Stitches 16. Basically, the idea was to take a project and do a motif a week on it throughout the year until it was finished. That was Julie's idea. My idea is I've been kind of taking a different project every month and doing one motif on it. And this is the project that Julie's been working on, and I decided for this month to kind of join Julie and make this my motif a week project. So there were 5 Mondays. I've been doing Mondays because the year started with Monday. And I was trying to remember why I hadn't stitched that Monday last time.
Well, yeah, you didn't.
Why I hadn't done the first Monday of the month. Yeah. And it's because I was working on that Easter piece.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so focused on finishing that I totally forgot about my Monday plans.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah, it looks great.
So last time you saw this, I had finished the first page. So kind of everything that's to this side is what I had worked on this month. So after we filmed that night, I did my first motif to squish it in that first weekend. I did this round tree and this bird. And then the next week I did this tree. The third week I did this tree. The fourth week I did this huge tree with the owl inside.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last week I needed something smaller. So I did the squirrel and this tiny little tree. But I'm so happy with how this is turning out. I'm stitching this on 36 count Highland by Picture This Plus. Open it up so you can see it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a pretty fabric. It really is.
Yeah, it's a lovely like green, blue, gray, yellow mottled color that kind of reminds me of looking up through the trees and the sunlight. I'm stitching with all the called for DMC, 1 strand over 2 linen threads.
It's looking great.
So I'm actually going to be taking a break from Motif a Week this month, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be excited to pick this back up in June. Okay, next I was working on Garden Magic by Flossie Foxtrot.
Oh yeah, this is such a fun pattern.
Yeah, I had started this as my Year of the Dragon stitch along piece. That was something that was started by Samantha the Hygge Stitcher and Erica at Fibers and Floss Canada. Yeah. So my plan was to kind of work on the large dragon, which is what I started doing. And I got his little face done.
Yeah.
And his claws. It's looking so cute. Again, this isn't showing up as vivid as it is. I've had a hard time photographing this too. But
yeah, the colors don't look nearly as good as they do in person.
Yeah, so all that I did on this project this month was this larger dragon. This is being stitched on a 36 count Periwinkle by Color and Cotton. And I'm using the called for DMC 1 strand. And I love it. I'll look forward to picking that back up later this summer.
All right. Do you want me to do one?
Yeah.
Or? Okay. So let's see. What do I have on top here? I'll see that one for. This is the one I've been working on for a little over a year. And this is going really, really slow right now because I'm in a very confetti heavy area. Is that I'm sure anybody who does patterns with lots of confetti will understand. But I will insert a picture of what I
say
have
what it is.
month. But this is called a. Yes, don't get ahead of myself. This is Fantasy Winter Castle by Instant Cross Stitch, which I don't think is available anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. But I'm doing this on 20 count denim Aida by My Vintage Needle Arts, and I'm doing it 1/1, and with the one called for floss, just because I don't think I could change these if I wanted to. So this is the pattern. Let's see if I can get it. Thank you. Oh. So it's coming along. It doesn't look like I made a whole lot of progress, but it was actually a lot of time stitching because like I say,
there's a lot of
one stitch, then go over another 10 or 20, 15 to get one more stitch. It's starting to fill in where the rest of the castle is on this lower part, which if you could hold this side so I can. So it's kind of
here.
Thank you. So it's kind of like right in this area here is where I spend a lot of time, and I've moved over a little bit. I moved this down lower as well with my stitching, but it's kind of filling in. But it just takes a lot of time. So I'm enjoying it, but it's going to be a multi-year project for sure because this is only page 2, and I think there's 8 pages. Yeah. So it's doing great when it's finished, but I think it's just going to be a slow go at times. The sky was going quicker because it has bigger stretches of blocks, but the castle has just so many colors. So that's one of my whips.
I worked on Counting Puddle. Not Counting Puddles. That's the name of the designer, Counting Puddles. This is a Spooktacular Party by Counting Puddles. I pulled this out because of Elizabeth at Savory Sewing, who was touching all of her Halloween projects in the month of April, and this was my only Halloween work in progress that I had. So I pulled this out, and this ended up becoming my back porch stitching piece. So every time I went and sat out on the back porch, I worked on this, which was not a lot, or I was distracted by birds and stuff.
That's fair.
But I guess I did do a lot. So I did all of the green that's over here. I started working on the vine.
That's a fair bit. That's a fair bit. So
yeah, because that pattern kind of was easy to just sort of do. It's so cute. This is such a cute pattern.
Yeah, it's a nice twist of fabric. I think it looks nice in there.
Yeah, this is 28 count slate by Fabrics by Stephanie, and I'm stitching with all the called for DMC threads 2/2. Yeah, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
And I think I'll pull this back out again in June.
I did not have any Halloween whips to stitch on, so I have projects. But
yeah, you had finished all of yours.
I had finished all of the ones I had as whips last year, but I'm going to be starting some again this year. So,
okay.
But I didn't have anything to contribute as far as whips go. But not a big deal. Oh.
Yeah. The next thing that I worked on was Cherry Blossom Creek by Dimensions Gold Collection.
I really like this pattern a lot.
Yeah, I started this last year on the first day of spring and said I wanted to work on it a little bit, and I did. I worked a couple days on this. And here's how it's looking now. So I worked on this orange bush over here and a little bit of the path, and then pretty much everything below here. All the blue flowers and the green that's all down in here. This isn't quite the bottom. I think there's just a couple more rows to the bottom of the page.
It's a great pattern.
Yeah,
really
it's
is.
really looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Hooray. I'm using all the kit provided. This is a 16 count Ada and all the floss that came with it.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Hooray. Hooray for spring, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go ahead and show my next one. This one is the Stardew Valley SAL by J. Marie, which and I'm stitching it on 18.
This is a Facebook group.
This is a Facebook group stitch along that I joined. I know Hillary at Subpar is one that got me into it because she knew about it and I did.
Yeah, she sent us a message asking if we knew about it,
which I didn't, and obviously I do now. So I'm doing this on 18 count Rustica Oatmeal, Aida by Zweigart. I'm doing it 1/1 with most of the call forwards. I did swap out the watercolor, which I think I've already mentioned in past videos. But this one also includes the design I created because I have it stitched up.
Yeah, you mentioned last time he was thinking about doing it.
I was thinking about doing it, and thanks to your encouragement,
you guys left such wonderful comments.
I appreciate the encouragement because I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. But I think it turned out pretty well. So I did this is the Jelly Moons festival from the game. The Moonlight Jellies is what it's called. If you played the game, I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about.
We did more than that.
I did more than that in the stitching, but it includes that. That's so I was excited to actually have it finished and stitched up. I did, as I was stitching, I made a couple adjustments, changes, which I made notes on. I need to update the pattern, but I think it turned out pretty well. So this, I'm actually caught up from where everybody is. Let me help you get this.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm actually caught up on this pattern. Thank you for holding that side. I have...
Sorry, I was trying to help.
I got it. I think I got it.
Yeah, helping.
Nope, it's okay. There we go. So like I said, I've caught up. I finished this pattern here, and there's one below in the bottom row, and then the one that just got released is this one over here, which is the greenhouse. But I've used most of the called fors, but the little pond down below I did swap out for an Etoile DMC, which looks really beautiful. And I've started working on doing the fill-in for the dirt color.
You did a lot of the back stitching too, on ones that you had shown before.
I did all the back stitching that I can do without getting the backfill for the dirt color in. So all the different motifs have their back stitching done, and I did a little bit of the other.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in so they can see it a little bit closer.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so this is the one that I actually designed. So it's like the little fish house with the little moon jellies dancing. And there's a couple lanterns, which is what kind of draws them into the shore in the game. So So yeah, this one has been a lot of fun to stitch. If you enjoy the game at all, I would definitely encourage you to go over. It's completely free group. All you do is have to ask to join, and they'll let you in. But it's been great. Like I said, I did that pattern only because I love that festival, and it wasn't included for some reason.
And we're still waiting for the console release.
I'm still waiting for the console release. I keep wanting to play the game, especially as I'm stitching this, and the update for the consoles has not come out yet, which is driving me crazy. So I want to go get my farm going, but I know if I start, and then I'll just have to restart because the update will be out. So anyway, so that was my second whip. Do you want to do?
Hold on.
Yawn pause. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that project a lot. I'm excited to see it. Oh, I didn't. You probably noticed in there. I did finish the dog in there too. There's a little dog. Yeah. So yeah. What was your next? Yeah.
So another thing that I worked on was 324. This is Works by ABC. I started this on March 24th, along with I think a lot of people. It was a stitch along started by Top Knot Stitcher and Arlene at Works by ABC. And I am this far. So I basically did everything I could on the first page with all the DMC that we had combined.
Yeah, we kind of combined.
Which I got pretty far. There weren't a lot of colors that I was missing on this page. But I'm just loving this. I'm stitching this on 36 count Sky Linen by My Vintage Needle Arts, which is a really pale blue. Yeah. I was really excited to get to the purples.
She does love purple.
Yeah. I spent one day just going through the entire pattern and seeing which colors we have and where they're at in our house. So it'll be easy so that next time I pick it up, I can just kind of grab the colors that we have and do it.
Yeah, she helped me. We organized our threads with spreadsheets.
Yeah, I had done that a couple months ago.
She had done that a couple months ago, but we put them on Google Drive, which makes
that way we both can access it at any time.
Yeah. And so if we're missing color, we can look where it is.
Yeah. It's been really helpful. Yeah. But I'm loving this project so much. All these little motifs are so sweet, and yeah, I just love the design.
It's a pretty pattern.
Yeah. I'm going to take a break from it this month, as with a lot of things. But I'm looking forward to getting back to this this summer.
Okay, how many whips do you have left?
Okay. Yep. The other thing that I finally started, don't worry, friends, I started.
She did start? Oh, yes.
It's Garden of Zig.
That's right.
By Ink Circles.
I was excited.
Yeah, Michael's been, I think, a little more nervous than I.
Probably so. I'm a planner, so I always get nervous.
Yeah, I told someone, I don't remember if it was in the comments or in Instagram, that procrastination is just one more personalization that I am bringing to this stitch along. This is a stitch along that's being run by the Hathaway Stitchers, Erin and Amity. The idea is it's a secret stitch along, so I'm stitching and I can't show what it looks like.
Until it's finished.
You're not allowed to use any of the called for fabric or threads. I am so excited about what mine looks like. I'm almost a third of the way done, I would say. I worked on it for 1 week, so I think I should have no problem finishing it.
I was excited for her to start it because I was getting nervous.
Yeah.
Probably more nervous.
Michael has seen it.
I have seen it, but I'm not really stitching it, so yeah, I felt it was okay.
So, yeah, I'll have this finished by the end of the month, and then I'm excited. I don't know how we're going to reveal these or show them off, or when it'll be okay to show everyone.
That would probably be a question for...
yeah, and I'm fine with however they decide to do that, because I think more people have joined this than they anticipated when they started. But I'm in the chat for this, which has been a lot of fun. Everyone is so wonderfully supportive and encouraging in that group, and yeah, I'm grateful for that. Hooray!
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right, my last whip that I worked on this month is my other SAL. This is the Wandering and Middle Earth SAL by Cunning Cross Stitch, which is a Facebook group if you're interested. I mean, it's never too late to join. I've almost not quite caught up, but I've had a little snafu, which I mentioned in a previous video, that I had to completely restart because I cut the...
We've moved on from that.
Yes, we moved on. I've moved on way past that now. So This one is I'm stitching on 20 count Rustica Oatmeal by Aida by Zweigart. I'm doing it 1/1, and I'm doing it with mostly the call fours. I had a little snarf through this month, so I decided to change the door color to dark green because I was inspired by Bilbo, and it didn't work quite with the pattern because the metal work was also was dark and you couldn't see it. So she helped me, assisted me rip it out so that I can redo the door.
My ripping skills,
yeah,
were fine.
She did great because I started ripping and I go really slow at it. So
yeah.
And I also do anyway. So I did get that restitch. I'm gonna change. I change a couple of colors as I get through some of the things. I'm considering playing around with like some of the glow in the darks or some of the water features I might do on a toile and stuff. So, but this is where I am so far. So it's actually, let me see if I can get myself so I'm not completely covered. I'll go a little closer. Yeah. So this is turning out really well. I'm working on the middle area where actually it's missing a pattern, but I finished the door again. And I still have to figure out what I'm going to do with the windows. I know there's like a bars pattern, but I'm thinking I might fill it in with like a blue color for glass. But then it's mostly going to be like stonework with a lantern that's in there. So I still have a little bit of ways to go. And this was just the main part of the stitch.
You're a few releases
behind. I'm a few releases behind. They just released the 3rd chapter, I think, which the chapters aren't as big, so I'll be able to catch up, I think, eventually. But this is turning out really well. I did change the small tree on the one side, which I think I mentioned in a previous video, but if you haven't watched before, I made that more of a fall because this is a fall themed piece. But I think it's turning out really well. I really like the pattern. I think it's looking really cute. So if you're interested, definitely head over to there. I'm sure they'd be happy to let you join. But so that has been my 3 major projects I've been working on, and I have some to mention in plans, but we'll wait till we get to there. So so you have another.
Yeah. So the last thing I worked on is Let Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. So I decided I'm gonna do Monogamous May. So my focus to start has been Garden of Zig. But my parents were over this weekend, so I had to not work on this because secrets.
Yes.
So the project that I really wanted to focus on this month is Let Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. This is something that I started 2 years ago in May. Let me open it up to see the actual image. Yeah. So this is what it will look like when it's finished. I last had worked on this in September, I think, for back to school, and I did this top section. So I decided when I pulled it out this month, the first thing I really want to focus on as I'm working on this is the border. So over the last 2 evenings, I worked on just bringing the border all the way down to the bottom. So all I did was the green down here. And then after I had reached that part at the end of the night last night, I kind of started doing a little bit over this way. So I know if I leave the border till the end, I will fizzle out and it'll take me forever.
It's always best to kind of mix those into the rest of the stitching.
Yeah, so I really wanted to get that kind of anchor in there so that then I can work on filling in the other motifs. But I'm excited to see how far I get on this month. Just focusing on it.
That in your secret SAL.
Yeah.
But
so yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. I'm so pleased with how it's turning out. I'm loving this linen. This is a 36 count Willow by Color and Cotton. And I'm stitching this with the called for DMC threads 1/2.
Awesome. So I think, is that all our whips?
That's all of my works in progress.
Yeah, all my works in progress as well.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's see.
Stitching kindness.
Stitching kindness.
We had the most amazing stitching kindness.
Yes, we did.
That never in my dreams. Karen, never in my dreams.
Karen was just such a beautiful person.
Our friend, the Stitching Owl, Karen, please go watch her videos.
Yes.
She's a delight.
She's such a wonderful delight.
She had asked us a couple months ago for our address. She has this initiative, which she calls Send a Smile, where she's been making ornaments and sending to other floss tubers in the community. Just, as a way of supporting and encouraging everyone. I know some of the floss tubes that we watch, people have received them, and it's been fun to see that. Her kind of little ripple through the community has been really beautiful.
It is.
But a package showed up.
Yeah, I had no idea, and I was like, "This is."
You went to the mailbox. He asked me if I had ordered anything.
I thought, did you order
from
something?
Canada.
I didn't know. I mean,
no,
I
it was from Karen.
It was from Karen.
She sent us a really lovely card with an owl, of course, because of the stitching owl.
Yes.
And her note inside was just so wonderfully encouraging and warm, and
Emmy brought us both to tears, so.
Which isn't hard for me. But yeah, it was really lovely, and she sent us the most beautiful ornaments.
Yes, the most beautiful ornaments. So these are the ornaments she sent. It's just really beautiful.
So Karen has been doing the Bake Me a Quaker SAL with EJ from Sunshine?
Sunshine, yeah, I think.
Sunshine Stitchers?
I think it's Sunshine Stitchers.
Anyway, she's doing the Bake Me a Quaker SAL, but she's broken up the motifs and is stitching the motifs as these individual ornaments. So this is a motif that's from that project. She used silky thread, and she added beading.
Which you can kind of see.
Yeah, she put beads along the outside, which I'm sure you can see the sparkle of that.
As well as on the...
But she's got some on the inside. I'm pretty sure it's an even weave from Zweigart, and it's the like speckle. It's not the Petit Point, but it's more of like a speckle. But it's really lovely, and she's got fabric on the back.
Fabric on the back.
We assumed that the purple one was mine because I've mentioned several times that purple is my favorite color.
Yes.
And she's got these ear charms on the bottom. Her finishing is just excellent.
Yeah, she just amazing stitching and finishing. It's just beautiful. So
yeah.
Thank you so much, Karen. We all love you over here, and I'm grateful to have you as
yeah, we're so grateful. I'm gonna leave this up in my craft room year round to look at it all the time. Yeah. I don't know what your plan is for yours.
I have no idea. I might hang it in my office for year round until we get put it on the Christmas tree for Christmas time. But
yeah.
Just a beautiful stitching kindness that we had to mention. So thank you very much, Karen.
Yes.
I mean, I think we already talked about our purchases, which aren't that big. But,
yeah.
Well, I guess mine is, I guess.
I mean, yours is part plan, part purchase.
Mine's part plan, part purchase. I'll talk about it when we get to the plans, I guess.
Okay.
Which I guess we're going to show now.
Which is basically now. I did buy a few things of Color and Cotton, but I can't show them.
Oh, yeah.
Or talk about what they are. For now.
For now. She will eventually.
Yeah, I did also get some threads for the Spring Moon, which I had mentioned last time that I was thinking about starting, but I never actually started.
But my purchases are related to an upcoming plan that I'm having. So
yes.
I'm sure some of you are at least aware of the Quaternion Forest Fairy Tale SAL that's going to be starting in a few days.
Yeah.
So I decided to jump in and join it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pick out some threads for it. So this one I already had. This is the fabric for it. So I'll go ahead and show. But I'm going to be joining that.
Yeah, he looked through the fabric that we had.
This is one of the fabrics I had.
It's over here.
Oh.
California Sage.
California Sage, 20
count
by Live&Dye LA.
It's a beautiful foresty color.
It's just a beautiful foresty color. I had actually originally bought this for my autumn town, which I was going to start, but it's just too perfect for this one to pass up. So this is my fabric that I'm going to use for it. And then I picked out some floss.
So part of the reason we went to Color and Cotton is because he was wanting to...
I was wanting to use some more fancy floss. Yeah. Because I had never stitched with fancy floss. I've always stitched with DMC.
Yeah.
I'm branching out.
And you kind of said this is the perfect project to try it.
This is, because I read, the instructions which kind of encourage you to pick out your own color grouping, which I did. I spent a little time playing around on the computer with different color groupings. And so I came up with a few. I'm doing, let's see, I should just include 3 of them. I don't need to go all 4 of those. So one of them, the main color is going to be is Waltz by Color and Cotton.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also am doing Fright Night, which is like an orange, and Dutch
Show
Tulip.
Show them to the people.
I was reading the names
first. Show them
first.
to our friends.
I'll read.
They want to see.
Calm down. Patience. I will show them now. So this is the color groupings that I'm doing. I think it's going to look really good with the highlights for the orange and like red.
This is going to be your primary color.
That's going to be my primary color.
The and then these are going to be
those are the highlights of some of the different motifs. So I think it's going to turn out really good. I don't know if anybody else who's watching is taking part, but do let me know. I'm curious what else other people are choosing for their colors and fabrics and stuff if they're taking part. So that's one of my exciting plans that I'm.
Yeah.
I
think you really enjoyed. I mean, I think you were overwhelmed standing in front of the rainbow wall.
I was. I initially looked at DMC colors just to get an idea of how they would look together.
You kind of had a concept of what you
I had a concept of what I wanted,
envision.
and I looked at my GMCs to kind of get an idea if that worked together, and then I went with those colors in mind to Color and Cotton to pick out the actual fancy floss.
And there they also have DMC, so I think you took the
I took
DMC
the
and walked
DMCs
over to the
there.
wall to see.
Yeah, I had a number of different group possibilities to see how they work together. I chose this kind of grouping, and then I used the DMCs at the store to kind of help pick out what looked similar.
And you had brought your fabric so that you could hold it up. And
yeah. So it was an involved process. I had never actually freelance colors myself or anything, so
it's exciting.
It was fun. I see why people do it. So that's one of my major plans coming up. So I had another plan, but you can mention one of yours if you want.
Yeah, I have a couple plans. So I'm doing Monogamous May, but for me, Monogamous is like 2 projects at a time because I prefer having, this is quite a large project, the Let Love Rain, and I prefer having a smaller project in the evening, especially later in the evening. So I'm also going to have some smalls that are going on, but I'm going to focus on like one at a time and not jump around like I usually do.
That's good.
Yeah. So my first small focus, once I finish Garden of Zig, is going to be Assad the Lost from Miriam at Marumi Designs. There is a stitch along going on for Marumi May. A bunch of Miriam's friends said, hey, let's stitch Miriam's patterns. And I said, I have one of those. I can do that. So I think I had mentioned that my goal on this, when I purchased it, I had the idea to work on this on one of our trips this summer. So my focus when I work on it is just going to be to do the outline of Assad so that I can do the fill-in when we're on vacation. I think that'll be a good vacation project. I'm planning on doing this on Smack the Jellyfish by Live&Dye LA.
It's such a pretty fabric.
Because I think it's just going to be like this awesome experience. I have all the DMC threads that she called for, and yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that sometime in the next couple of weeks. Once I finish that goal of doing the outline of Assad, another thing that I'm considering doing as a small this month is Flowers for Sylvia by Dee at Dee's 20 Stitches. I think this is a really beautiful design Dee designed in honor of Sylvia Rivera, a trans activist. Yeah, I love this quote. We are not ashamed of who we are. I think that's powerful words. Yeah. And I've loved this design. And I have this piece of light blue. It was from a Color and Cotton grab bag. That I think is going to work. I held up I have got all the DMC that Dee called for, and I think it's going to work, and it's going to be beautiful. So my plan for this is to actually just work on the whole thing and get it to a finish. If I have time, if I finish that, I may possibly jump into Manning May, hashtag Manning May, which a bunch of people are doing. Because I had bought this cross stitch magazine, and I still need to get the summer one, but I will, don't worry. For the Hummingbird Garden, which is a Carolyn Manning design. So this is larger, which is why I'm hesitant to say I'm definitely going to start this month and hop into Manning May, but if
it's on the radar.
Do, like I really want to work on Let Love Rain so much, but I know in the evenings I need.
Yeah.
But is this too large for that? I don't know yet. But I pulled this fabric. It's a Live&Dye Evergreen Duo 36 count, which I think I'm going to do it on. But I need to pull the greens and throw them up against this and see what happens in my heart. Yeah. Do you have plans for this month?
For this month, besides adding the SAL, that'll give me 4 large projects, which kind of keeps me pretty busy. But yeah. I do have a couple other plans.
We have some future plans.
But for this month, I think between those 4 SALs, that'll keep me pretty busy. Yeah. I know I had plans for a couple other small type, my mini art stitch book that I was going to stitch a few patterns, and if I can squeeze it in, I will, but I don't know that I will.
That's all right.
Because I'll have to catch up. I still have to catch up in the middle or SAL and start the new SAL. So we'll see how it goes. I'm learning to manage multiple whips.
This is something that's newer to you.
Yeah, I was started as a monogamous stitcher.
Really, until
last year sometime.
Yeah, maybe 2 years ago.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I decided to start adding a few projects.
Because it was in the middle of when we were doing all those moves, and I think you kind of had a smaller project and a bigger project.
And I had started that sacred one for you that I had done.
That's right.
That's
yeah. That's when you.
I think that was when I started doing projects
2 years ago.
So it's been about 2 years ago, and I'm learning to manage. I think I feel roughly comfortable with 7 or 8 projects going.
Yeah.
So, but there's the mini art one, and I do have I have a shout out because a stitcher kind of inspiring some of my future plans, which project I might take to Gen Con, depending, because I think it would fit for it. So the Dutch Stitcher, I'd like to shout her out. Hanukkah at the Dutch Stitcher. I really enjoy her channel. It's really calming energy. She does some really beautiful projects. She's doing a calendar, like different scenes. It's called the calendar. She's doing, and the Moon Deer from Orphalis Embroidery is a really beautiful pattern she's doing. But the one that's inspired me that she's doing is called the landmark. She's doing the different landmarks in Europe. And so I'm thinking of doing, based on that inspiration, the national parks. I'm debating whether I want to do the ones we visited together, ones I've done, or just do all the, because there's a number of, a couple patterns of like small national park stitches. So, but I needed to shout her because I was inspired by her, her stitching. She does such lovely stitching. And just a wonderful person. So to do check her out, we'll link her below. So that's one of my future plans, and I'm thinking that might be a Gen Con start. So, and I will talk a little bit. I've started planning my D&D SAL a little bit more. I'm working on the different rules, the rule sets, how it'll work on building your character.
Yeah.
I haven't started designing the character sheet yet, and for one, I need a bigger program than I have, but I want to get some more of the actual details figured out, which hopefully you guys can help me with. I have some questions. I'll probably ask maybe one at the video to see if you can get your feedback. This will help me in planning, because I've never planned a project or a SAL or anything. So my question for you is, on average, how many stitches do you put in per month? This will help me with determining, the different categories and how much will count towards which categories and stuff. So I would appreciate if you just put in the chat below, just roughly. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go and try to figure out exactly, just on average, how much do you think you stitch per month, stitch wise.
Yeah.
So
if you see someone commenting on your videos, on our video or on your video, if you're a Flosstuber, and it's Gray Tree Games, that's Michael.
Oh yes, I have an account I created mostly when I was going through game design. I use it mostly to post.
Yeah, he doesn't have any videos.
I don't have any videos on there.
But if you see someone commenting, that's Gray Tree Games.
That is me. Gray Tree Game is my other moniker that I use, and so I will respond sometimes to that. So if you do see that, that's me. So that's my couple of the plans I've been working on. Yeah,
and then I have a plan that's also sort of a shout out to Corinne at Corey Creates. We had watched her most recent video. I think it was in the middle of April.
Middle of April, yeah.
And she was talking about her summer plans for stitching. And she's got several stitch alongs that she's going to be doing. And we love watching Corinne's videos.
They're always fun.
She is an educator, so her videos are always really informative. She stitches a lot of things that are inspired by other hobbies that she has, cooking and gardening. And
she does some project bags, right?
Cardinals. She makes project bags. She's got an Etsy shop, which I'll link below also. She does both vinyl front and full fabric bags. Yeah, and she also has made a bunch of formal dresses for her daughter's dances, which really resonates with me because that was something that my mom and I did together. When I was in high school, we made all of my formal dresses together. So when she shares that in her videos, it just reminds me so much of that time that I had with my mom. But yeah, Corinne, we love you. Yes. She's also a St. Louis stitcher.
Yes, which is also fun.
Yeah. But anyway, when she was showing her plans and talking about some of the stitch alongs that she's doing, one of the projects that she showed that she didn't have a stitch along tied to was Strawberry Fair by October House Fiber Arts. And as she was showing it and talking about how she has it all kitted up, I was like, I have this all kitted up. So I reached out to her and said, can we do a stitch along this summer? And she said yes. So yeah, I had bought this at Persnickety Stitchers last summer in August, and I had gotten all the threads that were called for there. When I was there, they happened to have them. So I had those already, and I had a piece of fabric that I had set aside, this 36 count Mallow Stone by Atomic Ranch, which is a really lovely ivory color. I've had this sitting all together, waiting to be started.
For a little while, anyway.
So she said, well, can we start on June 1st? So June 1st, we're going to be doing Strawberry Fair together, and I'm looking forward to that so much.
Everybody else has the pattern wants to join the SAL.
Yeah, we love that. We don't have a hashtag. Maybe one of us will come up with one. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to stitching this. I think it's so sweet. I think Corinne has the goal of finishing it this summer, and I'm going to join in on that because it's not, I didn't bring the details of the pattern. I just grabbed the the front part. But I think it's not too large. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for the idea, and I'm looking forward to stitching with you, Corinne.
All right.
But yeah, June 1st. So I think we'll be filming after that.
Yeah, we should
definitely posting after that. So I just wanted to mention that ahead of time.
Yeah, that's it for my planning. At least the ones I know. I'm sure there's some things will come up, but
things
that's
always
it for my
come
planning for now. Is there anything else you had? Or?
I don't think so. That's all that's in my pile.
Okay, I think that's it because I don't think you had any sewing this month, right?
I did 0 sewing.
No sewing this month.
I focused on the spring cleaning that needed to be done instead.
We did a lot of spring cleaning. It was a lot of work, but so if you're here just for the cross stitch, I guess this is where you can jump off. But if you're here for the board games as well, we will be transitioning to that soon. But I do want to thank all of you for joining us today. Those who are returning and those who are new, if you are new, please do subscribe and like and all the fun things. But we are grateful to have you.
We're so grateful that you chose to spend your time with us. We know your time is precious.
And we're just grateful to have you as a part of our community. It's been such a blessing to us.
We're so grateful to spend this time with you. We hope that you have the best month that you can.
Yeah, enjoying doing the things you do with the people you love.
Yeah, and we love you.
Yep, we love you.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you. Those who are staying, we'll see you very soon, and we're just gonna take some time to transition. So give us a moment. All right, we are back. We've composed ourselves, transitioned to some stuff, and we're here to talk about our board games that we played this month. But I think usually you start with...
Yeah, so lately I've been inserting a photo from the Board Game Stats app of our games of the month.
Yep, because we've played more than we'll usually talk about.
Yes, we only talk about games we played a whole bunch.
Yep.
Because we play a lot.
We do play a lot of games.
Although we played less games this month than
usual.
Previous.
Yeah.
I think because we didn't have a game day.
We did have a game day, and we also spent a lot of time spring cleaning, and we were just too tired to play a lot of games.
This is accurate.
But here, she did insert the picture.
Yes, so you should see a picture on your screen of the games that we played in the month of April. So on Michael's mom's birthday, we played 2 games of Skip-Bo with his family, which was a lot of fun. With my dad, over the course of the month, we played 1 game each of Arc Nova and Quacks of Quedlinburg. And then Michael and I together played 1 game each of That's Pretty Clever, Twice as Clever, 2 games of Sagrada Artisans, which we talked about in our last video, 3 games of Rolling Realms, 7 games of Wingspan, which is our most played game, and 7 games of The Isle of Cats.
Which we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we decided not to talk about Wingspan. We've talked about it before. It's our most played.
I mean, at some point in the future, we might revisit talking about it after a while, but right now it's been talked about recently.
Yeah.
So. But if you have any questions about any of the games we mentioned that we don't talk about, just let us know in the comments. We can make sure we mention them. But,
definitely.
But Isle of Cats was the one we played the most that we haven't talked about. So this is the thing for it. Meow. Some really cute cats. And this is from the big expansion box.
I think the art is the same on the regular box.
The art's the same on the regular box, but they did release a box to store all the different expansions.
Which of course we have.
Because we usually played a lot. We played it more now.
We hadn't played it. When I pulled out the app and entered our first game, we hadn't played it since July of last year.
It
had almost been a year.
But we used to play it.
This is one of the good things about the app that I really like, is it's helping me to see, like, I love this game, but I rarely play it.
Yeah, we used to play it a lot more when we had, we've got so many new shiny games recently.
I know, we get so distracted by the shiny games.
And partly, I mean, we played it so much for a while that we just kind of got a little...
That's true. It was I think one of the places we stayed when we were doing all the moving.
Yeah.
We had it.
And we played a lot of it.
Maybe we got burnt out, but I'm not burnt out anymore.
No. So it got back out this month. We'll talk a little bit about it now.
Excuse me.
So the basic idea is you have a ship. You're going to this island on a ship, essentially.
There's an island of cats.
There's an island of cats that need rescuing. And
an evil pirate is coming.
Evil pirate is coming.
Set the island on fire.
Yes.
Based on the follow-up game.
Yeah, the follow-up game, which we won't talk about.
We've talked about it.
We talked about it before, but basically, he
Race
sets the island on fire, and we have to rescue
all the cats that are left over trying to escape the fire.
Yeah, but this one, we have a boat. You're going to the island with to rescue cats.
Yes.
And they're all different shapes, basically.
Yes.
And so you're trying to jigsaw, what is the
polyomino
Tetris.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Tetris where you're trying to fit cats into this particular shape you have.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different. There'll be different shaped boats that have different obstacles that you have to go around. So the basic premise is you once you place your first cat, everything has to connect to that from there on, unless you have a card that lets you do otherwise. Mm-hmm. So it's you draft cards each round, and you'll choose two and you'll pass it to the next person to the left. I mean, for two people, it's obviously we just swap back and forth, but so it works well with two people or with multiple people. And so you keep drafting each round until you've gone through the entire stack of cards that are passed, and then you have to buy those with fish you have because they have a cost. And then so the trick is balance how many fish you have left over, because the fish that are left over is what you use to actually save the cats. And the cats will be either 5 fish or 3 fish depending on where they are located. And so you're going through trying to decide how many baskets do I need to actually save the cats.
Each cat has to go in a basket.
Each cat has to go in a basket. And then there's other cards, like there's treasure cards that there are smaller shapes that could help fill up your boat as well. And then there's also other cards that are like goal cards, lesson plans, that give you points towards the end of the game. And then there's anytime cards that do various things that you can play at any point, not just on your own turn, on the turn phases. So you're trying to balance buying different groupings of cards. How many cats you have, how many fish you have, how many points cards you have. And you do this a total of, 5 rounds. And some of the expansions will add a few things, like there'll be...
Yeah, the pictures that you'll see, we've played with the expansions, so... Yeah. You'll see some things in those pictures that aren't in the regular base game.
Yeah, so that's really it for the base game as far as unique things.
So you also need to be mindful when you're putting cats in your boat that you're going to get more points for having the same color adjacent to each other.
Yeah, well...
they call them families.
You have to have a minimum of 3 to get points for different colored cats.
But it can be worth quite a lot of points if you can get a lot of the same color next to each other.
And so you're trying to balance having large families, but you also want multiple color families because...
Some of the goals
involve different related to that. And then there's some there are some cards that give you points for lonely cats that aren't by their own color. Yeah. And some of the expansion things they've added that if you like the game, you probably will want to have. Probably one of the most adorable one is the kittens. We absolutely love.
They're little tiny cats.
They're little tiny cats. They're much smaller shapes, and they don't fill up as much space, but they were super cute, and they can fit into little spots that the other cats can't. So that's why you would probably want them as well. And only the person who has the most boots, that's determines the turn order of
for each round,
rescuing cats each round. The person who is number 1 gets to choose to rescue from kittens or the regular cats. So those one of the expansion things that are super fun to have. And then there's also what are called beasts. That is one of the expansions.
Which get bonus points for having certain colored families adjacent
connected to them. So you have different spots that you have to connect with the different color families. And if you meet get a family of that, then you put a little marker in it and you get points for
bonus points at the end of the game.
The trick to them is they're only available the very first round, and they're cost 5 fish. So it really dictates that you have to buy one, otherwise you won't have a chance later in the game to get one. And they're worth a lot of points potentially. So that's another one of the expansions. And then there's a round event that's a part of the expansions. So as the ship moves and keeps track of the rounds,
events happen
each round that do different things.
They give you points. They give you
bonuses. They change up the order of how you do stuff. There's a little rat one that gives you a rat on your boat that you have to try to get rid of, or he's negative points. And so you'll play each of those rounds. Is there any other expansions I'm missing?
Well, there were extra boats.
There are
different boat shapes and
different.
With the expansions, you can play with up to 8 people.
And there's different card sets you get from the expansions. Different types.
I think with the base game, you can play with up to 5.
Yeah.
The expansion makes it so you can play with up to 8.
Yeah, and there's the Austrian cats.
Yeah, those are wild cats.
Yeah, the wild cats, they could be any color.
Yeah.
which I don't think we mentioned, but and so they can fit very nicely into different color, whatever color you need. Um, so you go through your 5 rounds, playing your different cats down, and at the end of the game, you get your points for different things. So you get your points for your families, you get points for um, your lesson plans, you get points for having rare treasures. There's rare treasures and common treasures, which are larger and they're worth points. And then you also get minus points. So every room that's not completely filled up on your ship is minus 5 points, and every rat that is visible on your ship is also minus 1 point. Mm-hmm. And so you'll subtract those points from the points you get from your lesson plans and your cats and your treasures, and whoever has the most points wins. Mm-hmm. So, but it's not very it's obviously not cooperative, but it's also not very cutthroat.
They do have a family version of the game.
There is,
which is included with the game. Yes. There's just a separate rule. I don't know if it's an insert in the rules or if it's a separate rule book, but it makes it more accessible for families.
Yes, so it's definitely good for a younger audience.
Yeah, it takes out some elements.
It makes it a little bit
just
simpler.
Makes it a little simpler
and a little bit more
a
friendly.
Little bit faster.
A little faster
and friendly.
Yeah. So that if you do have kids to play with, that would be an option. Mm-hmm. And it's included with the game, so you don't have to buy it separately.
Yeah, and I've also played the solo mode. I haven't played the solo mode with any of the expansion content, but I had played the solo mode. I think when we had it after the fire, and had brought it to one of the places we had stayed. And it's a good solo experience.
It plays really well as a solo. It plays really good with a large number of players or a small number of players.
Yeah, we played with 5.
We played with 5, played with 2, obviously. Mm-hmm. So it plays well no matter how many players you have, mm-hmm. which is really a more good game.
Michael is mostly better at this because he's better at the polyomino.
I'm better at the spatial polyomino aspect of it.
And I'm better at the card
manipulation.
Card manipulation aspect of it. So I think we're pretty evenly matched on this game.
Yeah, I think so.
It just depends on whose strategy has gone stronger.
Yeah, if I get the right shapes, I usually get things feel really well.
Yeah.
But, she's definitely better with the card management in the game than I am.
Yeah.
So it's a super fun game. Definitely highly recommend it.
We love it.
One of our favorites. Just we haven't played it in a while because we've had so many other shiny games.
But we played it 7 times and it was great.
But yeah, I don't think we had any other games that we played a lot this month and that we haven't already talked a lot about. So that is the one only game this month. I know at some point we're going to release an extra video about the Gen Con stuff we've been working on.
Well, no, I think... So my plan is when we come back from Gen Con, we'll do a video talking about it.
I wasn't sure what our plan was.
Yeah, which is in the beginning of August.
It's beginning of August. So,
yeah.
Because this weekend's when they release what the events are. Mm-hmm. So we're still in the midst of planning our Gen Con. Mm-hmm. But so if you're interested in that, we'll watch for that sometime in August.
Yeah, in August.
So... Other than that, I think that's all the games we have for today. But if you stayed with us this long, we are grateful to have you, and hopefully we hope to enhance your own pleasure of board games and stuff, and sharing this wonderful hobby. So other than that, we hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for I'm just going to ramble now, so just tell me to stop, please.
Well, we hope that you have the best month that you can. We look forward to seeing you again sometime in the beginning of June.
Yep. We will be back in June and have a wonderful time with the people you love, doing the things you love. Mm-hmm. And we will see you again soon.
Yeah, we love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.